Hey guys, Mr. A here. Today, we're going to spend a little bit of time exploring box plots. Before I show you what an actual box plot is, there are two concepts that we really should kind of discuss, and that is the upper and lower extreme. All these are is the lowest and highest points of your available data set. In this example here, we've got a lower extreme of 1 and an upper extreme of 7. Okay? That's all there is to finding the extremes, just picking whatever the smallest piece of data is and whatever the highest piece of data is. The reason I tell you this is you're going to need them. In fact, you need all of these things in order to make an effective box plot. What you're going to need is the upper and lower extremes. You're also going to need your median. Also, you're going to need a lower and upper quartile for your set of data, as well as a reasonably spaced out number line. Let me show you. So right here, I've got everything set up for us to get ready to produce a box plot. What you're going to do is take a look at your data, and you're going to want to find the lower upper extreme, lower and upper quartile, as well as your median. So what we're going to do is start with our extremes, the easiest part. Our lower extreme is going to be 2, and our upper extreme is going to be 10. We'll write those down and keep them in mind for later. Next, let's go ahead and find our median. There are 11 numbers up here, so we're going to count to the 6th number, seeing as 5.5 is going to be the oddball number if we took 11 and split it in half. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next one over is our median. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next one over are still our median. Our median is going to be 7. Next, we need to find our lower quartile. That is, as you might recall, the median of the lower half of our data. So the middle point of our lower half of our data is going to be this 5. So I'll write that down. And our median of our upper side of our data is going to come to 8. The last thing that we really need is a well spaced out and well thought out number line for our bottom. Let me go ahead and show you what I mean. So this number line here is one I just kind of found off of Google. I went ahead and numbered it down below, counting by ones, 1 all the way up through 11. Why to 11, you might ask? Well, when I searched Google for a number line, this is what came up. So the first thing we have to do is represent our lower and upper extremes by dots. So I'm going to go ahead and find the number 2 and put a little dot right up here above it. Then I'll find my upper extreme at 10 and put another dot. Okay, so far so good. Next, we're going to represent our lower, upper quartiles as well as our median by lines. Just vertical lines that go down a little bit. So my lower quartile at 5, my median at 7, and our upper quartile by 8. The final step is just connect everything with lines. Your vertical lines are going to be connected like this in order to form a box. Next, you're going to take 2 lines and connect your box to your dots. This is why some of you may know a box plot as its other name, a box and whiskers plot. You got a box in the middle and 2 whiskers of varying sizes off to each side. Okay? Let's go ahead and take a look at another example when the number line may not be spaced out quite the same. In this example, our numbers are a lot more spread out. We go from 20 all the way up through 100, and we've got 55s and 75s thrown in the middle there. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this and find our lower extreme, upper extreme, lower quartile, upper quartile, and median. Sounds like a lot, but we already have most of the hard work done for us. Once again, we have 11 numbers set up. So our median and quartiles are going to be pretty easy to come by. Our lower extreme is going to come out to 20. Our upper extreme is going to be 100. Our median is going to be, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next step over, our median is 70. Our lower quartile, 1, 2, 3, is going to be 60. And our upper quartile is going to be 1, 2, 3, it's going to be 90. So, I kind of already filled all that in. What we have to do now is worry about our number line. You'll notice I started at 10 and went all the way up through 110. Once again, we don't want to leave any empty spaces down there. We want it all to be filled in with numbers. It also isn't going to matter if we have spaces. If we were to use that 75, we would simply draw our line right here between our 70 and 80. Fortunately for us, all of our pieces of our data came out to whole 10 numbers. So we don't have to worry about it. Finally, we're going to take our pen and we're going to create our box plot. We're going to start with our 2 dots at our lower and upper extremes. Make a dot at 20 and a dot at 100. Next, we're going to take 3 lines and draw them at our lower quartile, upper quartile, and our median. A line at our upper quartile, a line at our median, and a line at our lower quartile. We're going to connect those vertical lines with a box, connect our dots with our box via a whisker, and there we have it. One box and whiskers plot ready to go. Not too hard. A little time consuming depending on how much data you have to look at, but not very difficult. All right, now you give it a shot. What I want you to do for this set of data, once I give you a chance to pause it, is I want you to look at this and I want you to find all 5 of these pieces of information, and I want you to go ahead and number your number line with the way that you think would be effective for this box plot. I'm going to go ahead and count to 3 and let you do that. 1, 2, 3. Hopefully you were able to get the lower extreme and upper extreme, which came out to 3 and 9. Your lower and upper quartile, which came out to 5 and 8, as well as your median, which came out to 7. Once you took a look at all those numbers, I hope you were able to create a number line similar to the first one that I created earlier. It goes from 1 all the way up through 11 if you allowed for that many tick marks, and they're all evenly spaced with no fractions or decimals in between. Go ahead and take a moment and draw that out and see if you can sketch out your box plot by yourself this time. I'll give you a chance to pause the video so you can wait and see if you did it correctly. 1, 2, 3. Did your box plot come out to like this? If it didn't, take a look again. Our lower extreme came out to be 3, so we put a dot there. Our upper extreme came out to 9, so we put a dot right there. Our lower quartile, upper quartile, and median all had values of 5, 7, and 8. So we put a line at 5, 7, and 8. Lastly, we connected them all with lines to form a box in the middle and 2 whiskers on either side. If you got it, great. If not, go back and take a look at the rest of this video and see if you missed something earlier. Next, a harder example. I went ahead and spaced these numbers out, so you're not going to be able to do a nice, simple, and easy number line. You're going to have to think for a little bit on this one. I also went ahead and gave you an even number of data points, so you're going to have to find some averages along with your medians and quartiles. Go ahead and take a moment to pause the video when I count to 3 and just find these 5 pieces of information as well as try numbering your number line. I'll go ahead and count to 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, time's up. The easier parts, the lower and upper extreme, should have come out to 9 and 8. Your median was a decimal or a fraction at this point and should have come out to 22.5 or 22 5/10. Next, your lower quartile should have been the average of 14 and 18, which comes out to 16. Then, for your upper quartile, you had to find the average of 23 and 27, which comes out to 25. Finally, for our number line, I started at 8 and decided to count by 2s. I'm not going to be able to put all of these numbers on here, like 22.5, 25, and 9. But I'm going to be able to put, for example, my lower extreme in between my 8 and my 10 on my number line. And that's important. You're going to need to be able to put these numbers in between spaces on your number line because it's not always going to be feasible to make a number line that stretches all the way from 9 to 28. You're just not going to have time or space really to write out that number line. Regardless, go ahead and take a moment to pause the video here and draw out this number line and put your box plot on it. I'll go ahead and count to 3 so you can pause. 1, 2, 3. All right, time's up. You should have had 2 dots. Both of them should have landed on 9, which is between 8 and 10, and on 28. Next, you had to draw 3 lines. One line belonged to 16. That's nice and easy. Draw it on the 16. The next line should have been 22.5. In that case, you would have drawn your line a little bit to the right of 22, in between 22 and 24. Finally, you would have drawn another line where 25 belongs, right between 24 and 26. The last step was to connect all of your lines together in order to form a box, and then draw 2 whiskers coming off of the box to give you your 2 whiskers for your box and whiskers plot. And that's all there is to it. Stay tuned next time where we're going to talk about histograms and dot plots. In the meantime, this is Mr. A. Have a nice night.